There is a conversation that keeps replaying in your mind. Maybe it was something someone said that landed wrong. Maybe it was something you said and immediately wished you had not. Maybe nothing dramatic happened at all, just an ordinary exchange that your mind decided, for reasons you cannot fully explain, was not finished yet. And no matter how many times you replay it, it does not seem to move toward resolution. That replay is not anxiety. It is not weakness. It is your mind doing something specific and purposeful that most people have completely backwards. Your mind does not replay things randomly. It does not loop conversations and moments because it malfunctioned or because you lack the ability to let things go. It replays what it has identified below the level of your conscious awareness as genuinely unfinished, as carrying something important that has not yet been fully received. And the loop continues not because your mind is stuck, because it is working, actively, purposefully working on something it has decided matters enough to keep returning to. But before we get into what the replay is actually working on, there is a specific type of replay that is the most persistent, the most uncomfortable, and the most consistently misread as a problem when it is actually the most important signal your mind produces. We will get to that precisely. And when we do, a loop that has been running in your mind, possibly for a very long time, will suddenly make a completely different kind of sense. First, here is what is actually happening when your mind replays something you would rather leave behind. Think about the last time you replayed a conversation that most people would have filed away without a second thought. Something small, a comment from a colleague, a moment in a social interaction that felt slightly off without being obviously wrong. Most people processed it at the surface, heard the words, responded, moved on. You processed the surface and then kept going. Into the subtext. Into what the moment revealed about the person. Into what your reaction to it revealed about you. Into the implications that branch outward from a single exchange in directions that most people never think to follow. And then your mind brought it back. Not because you are more anxious than other people, because you went deeper into it than other people did. And deeper processing takes longer to complete. The replay is the processing continuing. Here is the strange part. The conversations your mind replays most persistently are almost never the ones that are actually over. They are the ones where something real happened that did not get acknowledged in real time. Where something was felt that was not expressed. Where something was understood that was not said. Where the surface of the interaction completed but the layer beneath it did not. And your mind, which tracks both layers simultaneously, knows the difference. It will not file something as finished when the work is only half done. Most people completely miss this because they have been taught to measure the health of their thinking by its quietness. A mind that lets things go quickly is considered more regulated than one that keeps returning to them. But that measurement assumes the things being replayed do not matter. And your mind is not replaying things that do not matter. It is replaying the things it has assessed, accurately, specifically, without your conscious input, as genuinely unresolved. The replay is not the problem. Calling the replay a problem is the problem. Because every time you treat the loop as something to be stopped rather than something to be heard, you interrupt a process that was moving toward something real. And this leads directly to what the replay is actually moving toward, which is the part most people never reach because they spend all their energy trying to make the loop stop. Your mind replays significant moments because it is looking for one specific thing. Not closure in the vague general sense that word usually gets used. Something more precise than that. It is looking for the moment of complete understanding, the point where every layer of what happened has been fully processed, where the emotion it generated has been fully felt, where the meaning it carries has been fully received. That point of complete understanding is what releases the loop. Not time. Not distraction. Not forcing yourself to think about something else. The actual completion of the processing that the replay is trying to finish. Have you ever suddenly understood something about a past situation, sometimes months or years later, and felt the loop around that situation release? Not because you decided to let it go, because something finally clicked. A piece of information arrived, or a realization surfaced, or you simply sat with it long enough in the right frame of mind for the full picture to become visible. And after that, the replay stopped. Not because you suppressed it, because it was done. That release is what your mind is working toward every time it brings something back. And the fact that it keeps working, keeps returning, keeps insisting, keeps refusing to let you permanently file something it has assessed as unfinished, is not evidence of a dysregulated mind. It is evidence of a mind that takes its own experience seriously enough to keep working on it until the work is actually complete. But here is where it gets really interesting. And this connects directly to the specific type of replay I mentioned at the very beginning. The most persistent loops, the ones that have been running the longest, the ones that return most reliably no matter how many times you redirect away from them, are almost always carrying one of two things. Either an emotion that was genuine but was not allowed to be fully expressed at the time, or a truth about a person or a situation that your mind assessed clearly but that you have been consciously avoiding because fully receiving it would require you to do something with it. The first type, the unexpressed emotion, is painful in a straightforward way. Something hurt and you did not let it hurt completely. Maybe the situation did not feel like it warranted the full weight of what you felt. Maybe expressing it would have been complicated. Maybe you simply got yourself functional and kept going because that was what was needed. But the emotion did not finish. And the replay is the marker keeping the place, returning you to the moment again and again so the feeling can complete itself in whatever small increments of space you are willing to give it. The second type is harder, because the truth your mind is carrying in that loop is one you already know. Not a truth you are still working out. One you have already worked out, somewhere below your conscious awareness, and have been refusing to fully admit. About a relationship that is not what you have been pretending it is. About a situation you have been staying in past the point where staying makes sense. About something in yourself that is easier to loop around than to look at directly. That loop will not stop until you let the truth it is carrying land completely. Not examine it from a safe distance. Not acknowledge it partially and then redirect. Actually let it arrive with all the implications attached, and decide what you are doing with it. Remember the replay you were holding at the very beginning, the conversation or moment your mind keeps returning to. Now you know what it is doing. It is not punishing you. It is not evidence of anxiety or poor regulation or an inability to let things go. It is working. Specifically, purposefully, with genuine fidelity to something your mind has assessed as important enough to keep returning to until the work is done. The question worth asking, the one that actually moves the loop toward completion, is not why can I not stop thinking about this? It is what has this not finished yet? What did I feel in that moment that I did not let myself fully feel? What do I already know about this situation that I have not yet been willing to fully admit? Because the answer to that question is what your mind has been trying to bring you to all along. Through every replay, through every loop, through every return to a moment you thought you had already left behind. Your mind is not replaying what you cannot let go of. It is replaying what matters most. And it will keep bringing you back to it, with that same quiet, patient, unwavering persistence, until you finally arrive at the place the replay was always trying to take you. Tell me in the comments. Is there a conversation or moment your mind keeps returning to that you have never been able to fully explain? Just tell me. Do you think the replay is finished, or do you think there is still something in it you have not reached yet?